This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio.
Good evening, everyone. It's time for Ham Talk Live. It's episode number 271 of the Little League World Series and its connection to ham radio. Recorded live on Thursday, September 9th, 2021. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight we're joined by Ryan Pearson, KN4VKW, and his father Andrew, KN4VKX, and his brother Blake as well, and we'll take your calls live in just a few minutes. Last week, John Doerr, K1AR, was here to talk about the CQ Worldwide contests and the new youth overlay, or the category, whichever you prefer. If you missed that show, you can listen anytime over at hamtalklive.com, or just pick up your favorite podcast app or go over to YouTube and you can catch it there. Also, don't forget you can catch the rebroadcast of Ham Talk Live every Saturday afternoon about 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time over on WTWW shortwave. That's 5085 on your AM dial. WTWW broadcasts the show, and thanks to Ted and the crew over there for doing that each week. One thing before we take a quick break here, got a note from Lloyd Colston a little earlier that the Hurricane Watch Net is getting ready to come on tomorrow. So it's been a rough year already. Hurricane Watch Net's coming up again tomorrow, so be on the lookout for them. And tonight we're talking some baseball. I haven't talked baseball in a very long time. We'll talk to Ryan here, and so if you have a question for him or a comment, give us a call a little later on in the show. We'll open up the phone lines, and if you're listening to us live on Thursday night, you can give us a call. It's 859-982-7373. We'll give out the phone number again here in just a moment, so you can write it down, punch it in, have it ready to go, and I'll let you know when the phone lines are open. It's 859-982-7373. You can also tweet us. Our Twitter handle is at Ham Talk Live, and if you're listening on Spreaker, you can type in the comments, and that'll pop up on the screen, and we'll add your voice to the conversation. So I'll be back with Ryan right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
Jerry, what's up, man? I haven't seen you at Sunbucks in a while. I used to see you every morning getting coffee. What's up?
Well, I can't afford Sunbucks 5 days a week anymore. I had to spend my money on PL259s. You know, those antenna projects I've been meaning to do. I had to do them before my HOA finds out I have antennas.
That's too bad, Jerry. I miss seeing you and catching up over coffee. You should get your PL259s from Tower Electronics. They have great stuff. Jerry, you're back. Oh, QRM Heterodyne Frappuccino. That's a good choice. How's it going? Did you get all those antennas up before the HOA police showed up?
Yeah, I got them all done. Thanks for telling me about Tower Electronics. Now I can have my coffee. I just saved a bunch of money on my PL259s by switching to Tower Electronics.
Don't get caught without PL259s. Visit Tower Electronics online at PL-259.com or at a Hamfest near you. Or give them a call at 920-435-2973. And be sure to pick up some power poles, adapters, and cables too.
If at first you don't succeed, skydiving isn't for you. You're listening to Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Thanks to Tower Electronics for sponsoring the show. They're out on the road. They'll be at Findlay, Ohio this weekend on September 12th. Then Peoria, Illinois next weekend, September 18th and 19th. Belvedere, Illinois, September 26th. Belton, Texas, October 2nd. Crestview, Florida, October 9th. Or visit them anywhere online at pl-259.com. Well, welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Tonight, Ryan and Andrew and Blake Pearson join us on the Orlando Amateur Radio Club and Hamcation Zoom line. The Pearson family was here on the show last June. They became technicians all at once in June of 2019 and generals across the board just a month later. They have been building their ham shack and active with the Williamson County Aries Group. And we're here tonight to talk about Ryan. And Ryan plays shortstop and is a pitcher for his Little League baseball team, which went to the Little League World Series this year. So we want to congratulate him on that. And we're going to talk about some cool ham radio connections that took place during the Little League World Series. So that's what we'll be talking about. And if you went to Huntsville and you remember, I think it was 2 years ago, Ryan won the ICOM IC 7610 at the end of the day. So that was a big moment for him. So he has that in his shack. So guys, thanks for coming back on the show tonight.
Thank you for having us, Neil.
Good to be back with you. Thank you.
Well, even though ham radio isn't exactly the most popular thing with Little League baseball, and I've watched my share of Little League games, you guys used that opportunity to share a little awareness about ham radio at some baseball games. You sent me some real cool pictures. Of course, it's radio, so we can't show the pictures. But tell us a little bit about the connections here and how you represent ham radio while you're playing baseball.
Well, since Little League Baseball is televised worldwide, it is helpful that since everybody is watching it and they have the quick notes about the players, that when ham radio is mentioned, when ham radio is mentioned, that they talk a little bit about it and mention a little bit. Then a couple other ways in Williamsport, how I showed it was with an interview with Julie Foudy, and she asked me a little bit about ham radio. So I told her a little bit, and that was on ESPN2, so that was televised to millions of people watching. Then in the dorm, a couple of my friends asked why I had a walkie-talkie in my suitcase, so I was able to explain to them a little bit how I'm an amateur radio operator. I've been doing it for a long time. Or 2 years, really. Not really that long, but
it's a long time in kid years, so that's all right.
Exactly. So was able to tell them about ham radio. I don't know if they're interested, but got to express amateur radio in Williamsport, so that was good to do.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I've seen the hat, the baseball cap with the call sign.
Yes. Oh yeah. So my dad, he just made some posters about it, some big heads, and wrote a little bit on it, KN4VKW, so that when they'd show clips of my parents in the stands, that they would see how I play baseball, and I'm an amateur radio operator, so that you can basically do anything, your job be anything, and amateur radio can be a great additional hobby to that. So it doesn't have to take a very, let's say, Einstein life to be amateur radio. You can live a normal life and still enjoy amateur radio.
Absolutely. And that is one of the great things about amateur radio is it brings in people from all walks of life. Yes, there's probably a bigger percentage that are into engineering and those kinds of things, just because they know about all that stuff, and it's a draw, but it doesn't have to be just engineers. And I remember back when I was applying for ham radio scholarships. I'd been a ham for 13 years applying for scholarships, and didn't really get anything because I wasn't majoring in electrical engineering. I was just, I was settling for medical school, and, it just, it's expanded a lot since then. And I think we're getting the idea that, hams aren't just electrical engineers, although we definitely need them. That's great. So once you made this trip to Williamsport for the World Series, you actually had a chance to visit a ham fan. So tell us a little bit about visiting the shack while you were in Williamsport.
Well, it was definitely a great experience. To the background on how we were able to meet him was me and Blake were calling CQ on August 15th, 2020, and he called back. We always, as usual, we look people when they call back on QRZ, and the first thing that we look at is the top right corner to see their QSL card, and then we'll look at the bio. But we see that he has a Little League baseball picture of home that says the home of the Little League baseball. So then that draws our attention because me and Blake were supposed to be playing in the Little League World Series that year at the exact same time as we made the contact with him. So then we were able to make contact, deeply hoped that he would exchange QSL cards with us. And then now made it to Williamsport, and then my dad and brother reached out to him on an email, I think, on August 15th as well, so a year later, and they reached out saying they would be in the area and asked if they would be able to visit. So he reached back and said they could come. When we were playing baseball, they were able to have a dinner while I was at the MLB Classic game. Let's see. And then before that, though, when we were signing autographs getting autographs with the Indians, he was sitting watching the baseball game that was going on at the same time. So I got to quickly talk with him, meet him, and thank him for, just talk and tell him about how we would be able to see him in like a day after. So then we went to his house. We were able to talk with him, had a nice conversation, went up into his shack and were able to make a couple of contacts. But after we were able to make contact, I guess we got a message saying that I was somebody from, I think it was that Mark Messina wanted to interview me, the brother of Hall of Famer Mike Messina. So, hoping he would get me an autograph. That didn't happen, but that's fine, because I got Indians team of autographs and a couple of Angels for one, but that's fine. But, so he interviewed me, had a good talk, he left, and a little bit later, Marty took K3LPX, the amateur radio guy. He took us around to the historic Little League sites, like the first Little League field that was next to the MLB Classic field. So we were able to see that and see how it went from just a field that was really good back then, and now compared to how the fields are nowadays. And just know that kids now are so blessed in the Little League World Series to have what they have. I mean, you get there the first day and you're literally given brand new gear and baseball and a baseball bat. So you're treated like a pro, like you're in the MLB. So it was definitely a great experience. Nice to meet him.
Well, that sounds like a very cool experience. I know I've had a chance to visit a lot of hams here and there and everywhere, and it's just it's a great big community, and it's like, okay, these are my people. You know, we share this common hobby and service, and we just kind of trust each other a little bit more, and we're a little more open to meeting people that maybe we wouldn't normally, meet for the first time. And so that's really cool. But the story goes on. But wait, there's more. I was talking with your dad last night, and he tells me that they got to come see you just a few days ago. So tell us about that.
Correct. So after we came back and were able to settle and get started in school, he reached out and said that he would be in the area too, visiting his daughter, who was an hour away from us. So he was visiting them, and then the day that he left, he came over by around 10, and we were able to talk more, have some pictures in our shack. Our mom made a delicious lunch that we had that, some dessert, and we just talked, took pictures, talked with his wife about other topics and ideas, took more pictures, but were able to have some nice quality conversations with him. Another way that he was able to use the 7610, the one that we won in Huntsville in 19. He was able to use that, tried to make some contacts. Nobody was on, but he still tried to use it. You know, he had a great time here, as we did when he visited. So we definitely enjoyed the experience and had a great time.
Well, that's just so cool that you all were able to share that, and you happen to be there for the Little League World Series. He happens to be, an hour away with his daughter, and just all worked out. So that's pretty cool. Well, let me go to your dad for a second, Andrew. What's been your feelings on all of this fame and camaraderie here?
I'm glad that you asked that question, Neil. That's what I wanted to really point on. First, I want to back up just to share that it was the neatest thing, because as Ryan was already in Williamsport, my wife was working her last shift before we were going to be leaving the next morning, and Blake and I were packing up back at home. And as I was getting things ready, Blake came up to me with Marty's QSL card and said, "Dad, do you remember this?" And I looked at him like, "Oh, yeah, I remember that." I said, "Let me see if I can get a hold of him." So I shot him an email, and I just explained that the boys had made contact with him and that we were coming out there because Ryan was playing in the Little League World Series. Gave my phone number and just said, "If you want to call me, we'd like to be able to meet up with you." And a day later, it was the coolest thing, because I got a phone call from him and his wife, Gail, and it was like an instant connection for a wonderful conversation that we had with them. And they were so friendly to like us as strangers. But this is where the beauty of amateur radio comes into. so we spoke and we made a plan to be able to get together. And the Thursday morning, we ended up meeting at an iconic location in Williamsport called Sticky's, Mr. Sticky's. And they have some of the best morning pastries and coffee that I've ever had. And so we were, Blake, myself, Gail, and Marty, we were talking, and we were just having a great conversation, talking, catching up like we were old friends. Gail had to go back home to watch grandkids, and it was great because Blake, Marty, and myself, we still wanted to talk. So I just said, Marty, let Gail go home to the grandkids. I said, I'll give you a ride home. It's not that far. It's just in town. And so the three of us smiled, knowing that we could keep our conversation going. We did. I gave him a ride home. And then Blake and I obviously got to go up into Marty's shack. And it was very nice to be there to know that, that's where it started with Blake and Ryan on the radio, but then there was Marty in Williamsport coming back. We had passes as a team that we could share with friends and family. And so I extended a couple passes for Marty and Gail to be able to come. And so they came and they watched Ryan's games. And while we were talking with them, they extended that offer for us to come over and have dinner with them. And so Sunday night, while Ryan was at the Classic game, we came over to their house, got to spend time talking with them. They made a wonderful meal for us. And then we just kept talking. We had the Classic on in the background after the meal to be able to see the kids, see Ryan and his team and the other kids around. And through that experience, let me continue from there. So the next morning, we were able to have Ryan back, and we came over to their house again so that Ryan could visit, and we were able to take pictures of the boys and Marty, and then the four of us up in his shack. And while we were there getting ready to leave, all of a sudden, my wife got a phone call on her phone. A local reporter wanted to be able to talk with us about the ham component. And that was a big deal to us because we really wanted to make sure that we were able to use that opportunity and that platform in a market, in an area that a lot of youth would not have normally been able to hear this story, because we love being able to share amateur radio with youth. And the boys do a great job when they're on the radio. If they hear a youth or whomever they have contact with, they have a son or a daughter, they like talking with them and always encouraging them to check out Yacht Youth Amateur Communications Ham Team. And just they're good recruiters. And we wanted to have that recruitment and that exposure shared. And so Mark was able to come on over, and he made that story, and we're real honored and happy to have that go out. Now, like you said, then for them to be visiting their daughter and for us to say, hey, please come join us. And they said that when they came here to visit their family that they would. And we had a wonderful time. And this was our first experience. And this is like the top of why, the two top reasons why I love ham radio. One, being able to get to meet all the wonderful people that we've been able to meet, and just how friendly and how helpful people have been. So from ham to ham, that camaraderie of just being a ham together and helping out. And then the second component is just the automatic friendship that comes along with it. I was a complete stranger that just sent an email to someone else, but we had a common connection, that common thread of being amateur radio operators. And it's been so cool to have that instant friendship and now grow that friendship. It's such a blessing.
Yeah, that's just so cool. And it's a great community of people, and we don't always hear those stories, and it's great that we can share in the one with you all tonight here. Well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about another opportunity that Ryan has here to spotlight ham radio, and we'll talk a little baseball, I think, here after the break. So we'll come back and talk some more with the Pearsons right after this word from ICOM America right here on Ham Talk Live. Contest remotely or from the comfort of your own home. ICOM has the perfect base station ready for action. The IC9700, IC7610, and the IC7300 SDR transceivers are top of the line and are the first choice for contesters across the globe. Robust base stations like these cut through pileups, letting you work the bands and record those contacts. Stay connected and keep your competitive contesting edge with ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Create your own band opening with the IC9700. This transceiver brings direct sampling to the UHF-VHF weak signal world. This all-mode transceiver is loaded with innovative features that are sure to keep you busy, faster processors, higher input gain, higher display resolution, and a cleaner signal. It has a 4.3-inch color TFT LCD screen, real-time high-speed spectrum scope and waterfall display, smooth satellite operation with 99 satellite channels and full duplex in satellite mode, and dual watch operation. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR can pick out the faintest of signals, even in the presence of stronger adjacent ones. The ICOM IC7610 is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has RF direct sampling, 110 dB RMDR, independent dual receiver, and dual digicell. The IC7300 changed the way entry-level HF is designed. This high-performance innovative HF transceiver with a compact design will far exceed your expectations. With RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and SD card slot. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
Join the conversation. Give us a call at 859-982-7373. Again, the number to call is 859-982-7373. Or, if you'd rather type than talk, tweet us at Ham Talk Live. Now, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live.
Here's the snap. Rapp takes the rig. He breaks through the pileup. He's on 80. Now 40. Now 20. 15. 10. 2 meters. Touchdown. Ham Talk Live.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Thanks to ICOM America for sponsoring the show. Check them out at icomamerica.com/amateur and check out Ham Talk Live on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we're here every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time right here at hamtalklive.com. Well, before we get back to the Pearsons, we're going to take this quick time out for the Ham Radio Joke of the Week.
Now it's time for the Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week, a part of the show where Rick tells us a ham radio joke. The Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week is brought to you by QRM Labs. Now, here's Rick Garrett in 9 GSU with today's Ham Talk Live Joke of the Week.
I was having a terrible time getting Ham Radio Deluxe to communicate with my radio. Once I plugged the mouse in, it all just clicked.
This has been the Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week with Rick Garrett in 9 GSU. Tune in again next week for another joke from Rick.
Ryan, did you get that? It all just clicked?
Yeah, well, I kind of didn't really hear because I was on but
oh, that's fine.
My dad said he'll tell me later. And tell me what it is.
Yeah, there's always the replay. So there we go. All right. Well, it's time for your calls right now. So if you want to chime in, you have a question or a comment for Ryan, give us a call right now. It's 859-982-7373. Again, 859-982-7373, or you can tweet at Ham Talk Live. If you're listening to us on WTWW or on the podcast edition, you're not listening to us live, so you won't be able to call in. But we want to talk a little more about some baseball and Dayton here. So we'll talk about that. But if you want to chime in, now's your time to call. It's 859-982-7373. So Ryan, now you not only had a chance to be on TV, which it's always cool to get on TV and play on TV, but they actually had a nice little feature on you. So what did you think when they wanted to do that?
Well, at first, before everything, ever since regionals, my coaches kept on saying that there will be this one opportunity where they will interview you on something. I'm like, okay, well, it's going to be something about baseball, shortstop, something, brother, probably some. Turns out they want to interview me about me playing chess. So I guess that's how it came out. And I didn't know it until me and my coach were walking, but he's like, hey, you're going to be getting interviewed by a USA soccer medalist, right? And I'm like, okay, that'll be cool. Then another thing I didn't know until later is that once we got there and we were getting ready to shoot the clip, Julie Foudy does know chess, and it probably would take it would take more than 2 hours to explain it. So she decided that she wanted to do some like slapjack or some card game to do instead. So I'm like, okay. And then just as a side note, before the game, I promised I wouldn't skunk her. So, and I kept my promise. I didn't break my promise. I didn't skunk her. So I'll tell you the end of the story there at the end, or at the end of this. But so we were getting ready to get the shoot done. It was pretty cool having the microphone get put on me. So that was really fun. But the shoot started while I was in I don't know what it's called. It's like the baseball go-kart she drives around in. I don't know remember the swaggin. There we go, swaggin. So I was in the back of the swaggin, sitting on top of a seat that can turn into a table, where you can like set stuff, play cards, something. So we were doing the start, and I basically called Julie over and asked her what she wanted. Like, she called me, asked what I wanted, and I'm like, sure. And I'm like, what do you want? I don't got all day. I got a game in 2 days, and I got to get ready for it. So then she said that we were going to play slapjack, and she was going to ask questions while I did. So we were playing slapjack, and before this, I'll have to add, she said that she does have she is a little bit mad if she does lose, and it's kind of shows a little bit more when you lose, when you only get 2 cards in slapjack out of 2 decks. So it wasn't bad, but anyway, she was asking questions about, like, simple questions like, favorite part about this journey, what do you prefer, say pepperoni or cheese, some donuts or bagels, and are you enjoying the experience, what's your favorite part, questions like that, just simple and basic. And I would keep doing it, and then we'd cut, and then then I'd ask her a couple of questions. So I asked her, like, favorite part about the job, other simple stuff like that related to her. But then after the clip was over, I was able to get a picture, say thank you, and we walked back to the dorm where we stayed in. Obviously, I was, like, impressed at what I did because they thought I was a natural at it. I kind of am, because, I can't, like, this interview, I'm literally saying this by, like, my mind is saying it, like, telling me what to say. and it helped too that when I was interviewing the Indians player, I literally said the question after I said you're going to get interviewed. So I didn't know what I was going to say. It basically just came out of my mouth, and thankfully it wasn't. It was a simple question. So,
well, you got over the mic fright with ham radio, and carried on QSOs, those kinds of things. Why that helps.
It does help when you're contacting people you don't know until you look them up. And then sometimes you don't see a picture, so you're saying, well, thanks for the contact. And they're like, Sony's really into deep voice. So, but that definitely prepares you for when you're just going to be interviewed while you have 3 cameras shooting on you, 6 people behind in the background, or 6 people filming it and directing it, and then 1 person in the clip. So very interesting, very fun. Enjoyed the experience overall.
Okay, well, I was going to ask you if you were nervous, but I think you answered it. You weren't. So we want to talk a little bit about Dayton before we go, but we have a caller on the line, so let's go to the phones. Welcome to Ham Talk Live.
Good evening. This is Timothy KC3CDU. Hope it's okay to give my call sign over the air like that.
Yeah.
I hope everything's going well there for you, Ryan. I've spoken with Ryan before. I'm a adult yacht member, actually. But hey, Ryan, who came up with the scientist nickname?
So the scientist's nickname was actually the manager, Randy Huth, came up with the nickname in actually 2019 in 10U when I was just playing travel ball. He came up with the scientist nickname, 1, because he knows I'm smart and thought I was, in a sense, a smart nerd. And 2, because the glasses that I wore while I played with it, it reminded him of somebody who looked really smart. So then he gave me the nickname the scientist. It stuck, and every time it popped up, we all agreed that he was the one, he gets the credit for coming up with it. So Randy Huth, baseball manager for this team, came up with the scientist nickname.
It's a very scientific answer. So what's next? I mean, you've done Little League, you've been on TV, you promoted ham radio. What's next for Ryan Pearson?
Well, another scientific answer. We'll take it one day at a time. That's all I can say right now. Hopefully college baseball. Hopefully that's my goal. Middle school, high school, moving up in baseball. But right now, just taking it one day at a time right now, focusing on school right now.
Is baseball a possible career choice then, or?
Definitely possible. As long as I stick with it and keep on practicing and doing what I do best, that's definitely going to stick to part of me in the future.
Well, you did a great job on the shortstop. I'm sure you'll be able to continue, and you got a bright future ahead of you. You really do.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and thank you for calling. I'll hopefully be able to see you on Saturday on the YachtNet. It should be on then.
All right. You take care.
Okay, thanks for calling. Appreciate it. All right, the phone number is 859-982-7373. If you'd like to join in, we have a few minutes left here with Ryan, so give us a call, 859-982-7373, or you can tweet us at Ham Talk Live. Do want to talk a little bit more about ham radio here for a second. You and your brother, I believe, were both scheduled to speak at Dayton at Carol Perry's Youth Forum, and with all this COVID stuff going on, canceling stuff, that's kind of been pushed back. So has that been pushed back again? Is that still in the plans?
Well, I do not know for sure, but we were sad when it happened. I will mention, though, that we would have been at the Huntsville Ham Fest this year as well. we would have been doing it on the Saturday that I actually played the second game. But because of Little League, that got in the way. We would have been doing it about sibling rivalry, so in amateur radio. But we weren't able to go to Huntsville because of Little League baseball. So basically, we don't know about the future yet. We'll have to wait and see about what Carol has in store for us. We'll see if we do get the opportunity to be in Dayton. We'll gladly accept it if it fits in, and if not, we'll just still be in amateur radio and promoting it to youth and everybody we meet.
Andrew, I think you've got if he's not a baseball player as a professional, I think you've got a PR guy here with these answers. I'm telling you.
You know, I'm very, very proud of the boys. They both, I'll tell you, I'll say that ham radio has helped them a lot in so many ways, and they've shown these new strengths and talents and abilities that I have not seen previous. And what great joys that came along with amateur radio. I was looking for the STEM side of it, and a lot more has come in addition to the STEM as well. And I continue to look forward to what they're going to do. So, fun for you to see where it began for you to where you are today. And it'll be fun for you and I to see where these two end up in the future as well, right?
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. One other thing we need to throw in here, and we haven't had Blake on the mic yet, but Blake played a role in all of this too. So fill us in on that, Blake.
Yes, I did. So last year, of course, me and Ryan would have ended up playing together on the same Little League team, and hopefully would have made it to Williamsport as well, and would have set history together. But I'm still very happy that Ryan was able to have this experience the entire way, and it was really fun watching him. He did a phenomenal job, and it was really fun. I also enjoyed making that contact with Marty, K3LPX, and telling Dad about the QSL card and being able to meet him and make friends with him. And also I was able to operate at a station there, so I was able to contact a lot of people from our Aries and our W Cares group and just friends that we have down here in Tennessee, as well as some other people.
Well, and you were the one that kind of reminded everybody of this, right?
Yeah.
You hadn't have done that, you may have forgotten about it.
Yes, so in this family, I'm actually our QSL manager. That's what my dad refers to me as.
The best QSL manager any guy could have.
There you go.
I help him a lot with his QSL cards and our Triple Crown card and all the QSL cards that go out. I'm the person who does most of everything.
And by a lot, he means at least 95% of all the QSL cards he does.
Yep. He's great.
Yes, so I very much enjoy collecting QSL cards.
And when I say this, he does, not only does he take care of his cards, he's my personal QSL manager, and then he also helps to keep a little eye over little brother as well to make sure that he doesn't miss anything. And so Blake's our pillar of QSL cards in the family, that's for sure.
Well, that's always good to have because, it takes time to do those and to do them right. And it's something that I used when I was teaching high school. It's something I used as a kind of a springboard to learning what RST is and what Zulu time is and, those kinds of things. They need to know that so that they can fill out the cards. And so we always enjoyed doing that. Well, guys, our time has come to an end here, but want to thank you for coming on and sharing your stories tonight about the Little League World Series and ham radio, and look forward to hearing you all, hopefully, during, December Yoda month and in the future. And I'm sure, we'll cross paths at, Dayton or Huntsville or somewhere, as soon as all this COVID mess is over.
Well, thank you very much for having us on.
Thank you very much. We'd be very happy to do the Yoda month again.
Appreciate everything, Neil. It's an honor to be back here again with you.
All right. Well, thanks so much, guys. Appreciate it. And best of luck in school and in baseball next season and on the rig. So that is a wrap for this week's edition of Ham Talk Live. Thanks to my guests, Ryan Pearson, KN4VKW, his father Andrew, KN4VKX, and his brother Blake, and everybody out there for listening and calling in tonight, and invite you back next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at hamtalklive.com. If you like the show, please leave us a review. That's all we ask of you. That helps other people find us faster, and so we'll sign off now. So for now, this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375, and wait a minute. How was that, Ryan? It was 73, right? You had to have the deep voice. So this is Neil Rapp saying 7375, and may the good DX be yours.
Well, you came right back to my CQ call. Your readability 5 and strength 9. You never once mentioned your weather at all, and I didn't mention mine. We talked and talked for hours and hours. I completely forgot you're a ham. I don't know your power or the height of your tower. Frankly, I don't give a damn. So 73s to you and your family. I'll be seeing you further down the log. Your 73s to you and your family. I'll be seeing you further down the log.